Hey YouTube, what is up? It is a little early for me, but apparently Yu-Gi-Oh news never sleeps, even though I I very clearly just woke up. So essentially what happened is Yu-Gi-Oh cards were getting leaked for Rising Rampage, and Yu-Gi-Oh Konami decided to do something that they've never done before, which is basically leak their own set before the leakers can leak their own set. So now we know the entire set of Rising Rampage. We might not necessarily know what the rarities are, as the pictures are kind of hard to tell, and you can't really enlarge them. Like, I can't really click on them; they don't do anything. So essentially, we do have the complete list of TCG exclusives, and let's just bust it down right now. Basically, the first card that is a TCG exclusive is called Cap Shell. It is a. Oh, I'm gonna also include the cards that we're kind of getting down the line. But the first one is Cap Shell. Cap Shell is a dark level 2 fiend. It has 0 attack and 0 defense, and it has 3 effects, but you can only use 1 effect per turn, and it's a hard once per turn. If this card is tributed, you draw a card. If this card is used as a material for fusion, link, or synchro summoning, you draw a card. If this card is detached from an Xyz monster as activation cost, pretty much, you draw a card. It is interesting. Basically, in whatever summon you're using it for, you're going to draw a card. It basically just replaces itself as a material. It's interesting. I don't know if I necessarily see the synergy right away, but there is definitely some line of play that's going to happen that I'm not thinking of. But it's an interesting card, interesting mechanic. Basically, if you use it for a summon, you get to draw. All right, let's go on to the next part of it. And it's really weird how they kind of separate the TCG exclusives on this one, but let's just go down the list. Blocker. And apparently I cannot spell blocker. Sorry about that, guys. Blocker. Here we go. All right, let me just get rid of that and click that. All right, so the next TCG exclusive is actually a Link monster, and I find this very interesting. It is a Dark Link 2. It points left and it points down. It is a machine link effect monster with 1000 attack and requires 2 monsters with different names. Its effect is if this card is link summoned, you can discard 1 card. During the end phase of this turn, add 1 continuous or field spell from your graveyard to your hand. You can only use this effect of Barricade Borg Blocker once per turn, and face of spells you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Very interesting. It is basically blanket protection for face of spells you control. I don't know if people are going to necessarily play this card in Dracos or anything like that, but it is very interesting that there is a card out there that now adds field spells from your graveyard to your hand immediately after us getting Terraforming and Metaverse slapped up on the ban list. You could kind of see that they had things planned pretty much at this point. It wasn't like a random hit that they decided to not hit the problem cards. They're trying to push a TCG exclusive card. So that's why they did that. It is a very interesting card nonetheless. The fact that it could also add a continuous spell is interesting. You could link into this with Sky Strikers if you're out of Shizuku's, or if you have already made your multi-roll and you need to get it back, you can make this and add it back, even though necessarily you're not going to be able to take advantage of that card until the next turn. I do think that discarding a card and activating its effect during the end phase is a very fair way to go about what it does. And it's a very interesting card. I'm going to enjoy seeing how it's going to be used in the future. Now, the next card that I see is Rayvelger, the Desperate Doom Eagle. They're doing a lot of alliteration this time around with the TCG exclusives, but I think that this card is very, very interesting. It has some of my favorite arrows for links, which is straight up and then 2 down, diagonal left and diagonal right. It is a wind. It is a winged beast. Very interesting to see that. And it is a 2400 attack monster that requires 2+ wind monsters. So we also did just get Tempest off the ban list as well. It is a wind monster. So its effect is it can gain 2400 attack while your opponent has no monsters in their graveyard. And quick effect, you can target a monster in your opponent's graveyard, shuffle it into the deck. You can only use this effect of Revelger, the Desperate Doom Eagle, once per turn. That is very interesting. It is going to have applications against Sky Strikers. I don't know how necessarily easy it will be to make a Link 3 with 3 wins, but we are getting some new cards. We are getting, I believe, the Dragoonity Link monster in this set now. So we are going to have access to more wins. We have a way to search Dragon Ravine. We have a lot of plays that are going to be coming up. This card is going to be great against Sky Strikers because you can banish their 1 Ray in their graveyard, and then you get double attack. I don't know if this card will necessarily see competitive play like against Thunder Dragons because their deck is literally just all monsters, but it is going to have some aspects of competitive play. to it, which is really, really interesting. I'm just trying to think about how it'll be played, but I think I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with this later on. It's just interesting to see at the moment. The next TCG exclusive card we have is Star Power, and that card's effect is during damage calculation. Is a quick play spell, by the way. Its effect is during damage calculation. If your Link monster battles an opponent's monster, your monster gains attack equal to those levels / ranks of the monster it points to times 400. So that is interesting. It says levels and ranks of the monsters it points to. So it's not necessarily the monster it's going to be battling. It is the monsters that you have either beneath it or your opponent has in front of it. This has maybe some potential with Crusadia in the fact that you could just buff your monster even higher. It's very interesting to see. Or, you can get Saryuja up to a ridiculous number because usually you have like 2 rank 8s or 2 level 8s and a rank 8 underneath it, which is quite a lot. It's quite a lot of attack. Anyway, it's a very interesting card to see. It opens up some possibilities with OTKs. The name looks a little funky on it, which makes me think it might be a secret rare. The first card we looked at, can't remember the name of it now. The one that draws if it's used as a material. Its name seemed pretty flat, so I was assuming that was going to be a regular rare. This one might be a secret rare. Don't quote me on that necessarily. I'm just trying to speculate really quick. The pictures are unfortunately not enlargeable. So we are going to wait for Italian Yu-Gi-Oh! To pretty much leak this, and I have the site open now, but we're not necessarily getting a ton of information right away. So, back to the card list. Alright, after Star Power, we have Fuma Wave, which is a trap, not a continuous, not a quick play, oh my god, not a continuous trap, and it is not a counter trap. Its effect is target one face-up monster on the field, destroy one monster on the field with the same attribute but a different name as that monster. Definitely going to be interesting. Might see some play in mirror matches where there's archetypes that are necessarily similar. Maybe in Fire Fists, because it's based on attributes, we might see some play with this card. I don't necessarily see it as shaking up the competitive play too much, but it will see some play in maybe select mirror matches, but I don't think it's necessarily the greatest trap. It doesn't really do much. You can't activate it from your hand, and it has a lot of... Its effects are a little restrictive. Alright. So this is what the new TCG exclusive archetype is. It is called Dream Mirror. I have absolutely no idea what this is. I wanted to go in blind so I could read it with you guys and have some kind of, reaction to it. So the first card is Akelos, the Dream Mirror Sprite. It is a light level 1 fairy, effect monster with 0 attack and 500 defense, and its effect is if it is special summoned by the effect of Dream Mirror monster, you can add 1 Dream Mirror card from your deck to your hand. Basically, it is your Rhoda. There we go. It says, accept itself. Okay, that makes sense. During the main phase or battle phase, if Dream Mirror of Terror is your field spell, alright, so this deck is going to rely on field spells immediately after us getting Terraforming and Metaverse hit to 1. Interesting. You can quick effect, tribute this card, special summon 1 Akelos the Dream Mirror Mara from your deck. Alright, and you can also use this effect. Okay. So it's a Rhoda that can also special summon a monster from your deck. It can float. That is interesting during the main phase or battle phase. So it's not necessarily going to do anything for you attack-wise, but we'll see if there's any reason to tribute this to some of the Mara out later on. Oh, actually, Mara's the next card. It's another level 1. Really interesting. Oh, that looks really cool. All right. So Mara is Akelos the Dream Mirror Mara. So basically, it seems like Akelos is a light and dark version, and the deck is basically just going to be light and dark versions of the same guy. You can see right here we have Akelos the light, Akelos the dark, Morpheus the light, Morpheus the dark. But anyway, let's get on to Mara. It has the inverse stats of... Sorry, I said Mara. It has the inverse stats of the sprite. So it's a dark level 1 with 500 attack and 0 defense instead of 0 defense, 500 attack. Also a light fairy. Not a light fairy. Also a dark fairy. Level 1 fairy is what I meant to say. If this card is special summoned by the effect of a Dream Mirror monster, you can special summon 1 Dream Mirror monster from your hand. Alright, so there we go. If you summon Mara off of Sprite, it will allow you to basically summon a monster from your hand for free. Obviously, you're not summoning itself. During the main phase or battle phase, if Dream Mirror of Joy is on the field, quick effect, you can tribute this card, special summon 1 Dream Mirror Sprite from your deck. Oh. Okay. Okay. You can only use each effect of Akelos. That's really interesting. All right, so I'm liking the synergy that this deck already has. They basically just float and search. Not necessarily the worst thing, especially because you can float with low-level monsters in the battle phase. I like that a lot, so you're not basically taking a ton of damage to your face. All right, next one, Morpheus. I was going to make a Matrix joke, but I decided not to. Morpheus, the Dream Mirror White Knight. All right, White Knight. It's already going to be a weird term. Light, level 8, warrior effect monster with 1,000 attack and 2,800 defense. Oh, I think that's Monarch stats. Is that Monarch stats? Oh, I think it's Monarch stats. The reverse one, anyway. Morpheus, the dark one. Anyway, if this card is special summoned by the effect of a Dream Mirror monster, you can activate this effect. This card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects this turn. Ooh. All right. So if you send it off like a Kelos Mara, you can actually get inherent battle protection. That's pretty spicy. I like the fact that it's optional as well, so it gives bad players the chance to miss it. Anyway, during the main phase or battle phase, if Dream Mirror of Terror is in the field spell zone, quick effect, you contribute this card, special summon 1 Morpheus the Black Knight from your deck. Alright, so basically they all have pretty similar effects where they just summon the inverse copy of themselves if the field spell that's on the field is the opposite of the one that they are. So Dream Mirror of Terror, I'm guessing, is a dark field spell. So if the White Knight's on the field while you have the dark field spell, you can float into the dark. And if you have the dark monster on the field while you have the white field spell, you can float into the light. Not bad. Not bad. Very interesting. All right, let's look at the Black Knight's effect right here. If this card is special summoned by the effect of a Dream Mirror monster, you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it. All right. Removal. Interesting. During the main phase or battle phase, if Dream Mirror of Joy is in the field spell zone, quick effect, you contribute this card, special summon 1 Morpheus the Dream White Knight from your deck. You can only use effect once per turn. Alright, so the dark one's going to pop for us. That's not bad. These are slightly higher rarity, if I could mention that myself. So this is obviously an ultra rare. This is obviously an ultra rare. Also obviously an ultra rare. It is interesting. I can't tell if that's a secret rare or not. I don't believe it is. But these cards are obviously going to take up some of the ultra slots in this deck for us. Alright, so let's get on to the field spells. Dream Mirror of Joy is I was going to say continuous field spell. It is a field spell. During the end phase, you can banish this card, activate 1 Dream Mirror. Oh, okay. I'm gonna settle down for this one. During the end phase, you can banish this card, activate 1 Dream Mirror of Terror directly from your hand or deck. You can only use this effect of Dream Mirror of Joy once per turn. Dream Mirror monsters you control cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects or attacks. Oh, except your Dream monster with the highest level. That's really spicy, though. If this card is applied while you control light Dream card effects. Okay, so essentially you can control the light big booty boy, this guy right here. In defense, it can give itself inherent battle protection, which is really, really spicy because it's going to be special summoned off the small guys. He can't be destroyed by battle. Can't be targeted for attacks, I think it is. Yeah, your opponents can only target your big boy for an attack, but he can't be destroyed by battle. And he's the only one that can be targeted for effects. And then if he's targeted for an effect, you can literally just float with him, I'm pretty sure. That's really spicy. Actually, maybe you can't float with him because he might need the dark field spell. But either way, that is very interesting. It's really weird to see, like I was talking to Kasim about it before when I mentioned in my previous video that field spells are inherently getting stronger. And here's the proof of that. We're getting a archetype that has 2 strong field spells that do, I guess, opposite things. Anyway, let's get into Dream Mirror of Terror. During the end phase, you can banish this card, activate 1 Dream Mirror of Joy from your hand or deck. You can only use the effect of Dream Mirror Terror once per turn. Each time your opponent special summons a monster, inflict 300 damage. Oh my god. Oh no. Alright, so you're obviously going to keep Joy on your field during your turn, and you're going to keep Mirror of Terror on your opponent's turn. Might play into the fact that Morpheus, if summoned, can actually just, pop a card. So you're going to keep the dark on your opponent's turn and the light during your turn. Very interesting. This is actually really cool to see. I don't know if it's necessarily going to have the hugest implication, but Dream Mirror of Terror against Thunder Dragon is going to fucking hurt. I know we don't special summon as much now with Thunder Dragons, but damn, man. 300 per special summon. That might actually kill Thunder Dragons. This is a deck that is very interesting because this card is actually has some relevancy and it might slow the game down. It's almost like Maxi in that you're being punished for special summoning. You have to decide whether or not the life points is worth the monster you're bringing out. A lot of people are going to float into, obviously, Nightmare Phoenix and Nightmare Unicorn to get rid of the field spell. They're not going to let that shit stay up. But hypothetically, I was just going through my head and saying, if I full Thunder Dragon comboed without getting rid of this card, how much damage would I take? And I'm pretty sure I might almost game myself. Oof. All right. And the last card we have to talk about is Dream Mirror Fantasy. It is a regular trap. If you control a Dream Mirror monster, target one each of your banished Dream Mirror of Joy and Dream Mirror of Terror. Shuffle them into the deck, and if you do, banish one card on the field. All right, that does not target. Very, very interesting to see that. I did not expect that. And then it says, if a Dream Mirror card you control would be destroyed by battle card effect, you can banish this card, battle protection. All right, this card, oh man, all right. You can only activate one Dream Mirror. Ooh, wowie. So basically, it's a non-targeting banish as well as battle or card effect destruction protection for the archetype. I'm liking this archetype a lot. I like the idea of the duality that it has. This is very, very interesting. Beyond this, by the way, is not TCG exclusives. These are imports, just so you guys can know and see down below. Obviously, the next card is the Yosenju card. I'm not getting TCG exclusive Yosenjus that I know of. Anyway, Dream Mirror, definitely something to keep an eye on. I'm going to be picking this up because I don't see any reason not to. TCG exclusives always are pretty strong, and I feel like even if it's not necessarily strong at the start, this is a TCG exclusive that might get broken once Japan gets a hold of it and gives it a Link monster, kind of like Sky Strikers, wow, kind of like Spiral. So I'm interested to see what happens there. All right, let's get on to the next couple cards. Yosenju Orochi Channeling. It is a import. I don't really think I need to necessarily discuss the import cards that we're getting because these are cards that we already know exist and their effects. But I'm just going to show you guys really quick so that you can have a firmer grasp on it. Yosenju Orochi Channeling. It is basically what we're getting. Number 29, Mannequin Cat. People are excited for this one. This might actually have synergy with the first card I showed you in this video, in that it's a level 2. Not level 2, a rank 2. So you can now, well, let me go over this one really quick, actually. You can detach one material from this card, target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your field. If a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field, special summon to your opponent's field. If a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field while you control this monster, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, a special summon monster with the same type or attribute from your hand, deck, or graveyard. This is interesting. You basically could use the new level 2 that we're getting. To make this, you get to draw a card after activating its effect, so you don't lose any advantage. And on top of that, then you get to special summon a monster to your opponent's side and then one from your side. It has to be the same type or attribute. This could play into a couple of things, actually. It's going to be very interesting. You could give your opponent in Salamangreat like their Link 1, and then you could just summon a bigger fire monster off that. Very interesting. I'm going to definitely butcher this card's name. Kikinagashi Fuko. That's how I'm going to say it. 2 level 1 monsters, unaffected by the card effects. Once per turn, you can quick effect detach 2 materials from this card. For the rest of the turn, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. Interesting. I don't know if decks can necessarily use this in the best of ways, but it is a wind. It is 2 level 1s. There are some decks that might play this. You might see this have some play in the Dream Spirit deck because it is level 1s. There are level 1s in that deck. And it might be a way to stall for time. You just, 2 minutes left, make this card, detach it, quick effect on that turn. You take no battle damage, so it doesn't matter what happens. Very interesting. White Aura Monoceros, I don't really care about. White Aura is basically just like a manga archetype, so I'm not going to discuss that. This one, very relevant, White Howling. If you control a water monster, you can target one spell in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, and if you do for the rest of the turn, negate all spell effects on your opponent's field. Spicy, very spicy. I really love this card. It's played in Sky Strikers in Japan for a while because you basically end on Shizuku regardless, unless you leave Raid to float into Kaina to give yourself battle protection. But White Howling is a very, very good card because it negates all spell effects on your opponent's field. Very, very strong, especially in a Sky Striker mirror match. You're negating their spell effects and banishing a spell in the graveyard that they can't recur with, Kagari or their one multi-roll at this point. Very interesting. We're also getting the FA Link. A lot of people were complaining that we weren't getting that card in the Battles of Legend, and now is our time to see it. This is another example of us getting a pretty good Link monster in a TCG exclusive that Japan basically creates and just kind of slightly makes the archetype a little bit better. 2 machine monsters, Link 2 pointing straight down, no attack. Very interesting to see that. But it gains attack equal to the total level of FA monsters this card points to times 300. Neither player takes battle damage from attacks involving this card. Each time an FA monster's spell or trap or effect is activated, place a counter on this card. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can remove one athlete counter from this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy the card. Very interesting to see. It is 2 machine monsters. It's a generic negate, so that's really, really interesting to see. But it does rely on FAs. It is not necessarily generic like Dawn Dragster is. Anyway, this card is going to actually have some meta relevancy. Dragoonity Knight Romulus. This card basically searches Dragon's Ravine. If you don't know that, it basically just searches Dragon Ravine for you. You're not going to really use it for any other combos, but this is what is kind of breaking the dragon decks in Japan right now, and why they have a deck that's just called like Dragon Link. Very, very strong card. It allows you to search a field spell without doing much. You can also special summon a dragon or wing beast from your hand in defense position, but for the rest of the turn, its effects are negated and cannot be used as link material, so you could exceed with it. Very interesting card. I like it. I'm excited to see the meta, I guess, effects that it's going to have. This probably is going to make the biggest splash of all the imports. Maybe White Howling, but definitely White Howling and Romulus are the 2 best imports that we're having so far. And then we're getting Rogue of Endymion. I almost read that as Rouge because I'm still very, very tired. It is a fire level 3 spellcaster effect monster with 1500 attack and 200 defense. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can place 1 spell counter on this card. You can remove 1 spell counter on this card and discard a spellcaster, set 1 continuous spell directly from your deck, but for the rest of the turn you can't activate it or activate its effects or the effective cards with its name. Basically, you get to search anything you want spell-wise, but you just can't use it. Very, very interesting. That's pretty much it for this video, guys. I do want to mention this real quick. Morpheus right here, not a coincidence I'm saying, has Monarch stats. 2800 attack, 1000 defense. Kasim's not here to stop me from talking about fucking Monarchs. This card has Monarch stats. We just got Aether back. Very, very interesting things are happening right now. I'm very excited to see this. I'm excited for this archetype now. We have 2 field spells. Obviously, the field spells are, the field spell search capability that we have is kind of limited, but the fact that they kind of tutor each other out, you're not going to necessarily have to worry about that because they basically float into each other. It's not like you have to search the other one necessarily. All right, that's very interesting. Let me know in the comments down below, guys, what you think about this TCG exclusive. I am very excited for it. With that being said, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and click subscribe because it's free, it's fun, and hopefully Yu-Gi-Oh! News stops for today so I can actually do something besides make YouTube videos. Don't forget to click subscribe.